Due to our tight schedule, I'd like to jump right into our next panel discussion, growing our exports. Again, I'll ask our panel facilitator to introduce his panel members and provide an overview of the discussion. And with that, I'd like to introduce John Pastor, Director of International Trade and Development for the state of Delaware. John.
Thank you, Ken. Appreciate that. We're here to help small and medium-sized companies grow exports, and we have three members of our panel. Niraj Bhatta, who owns Bhatta Environmental, Chuck Rudd, Mechanical Services, and Ken Grant, Altec. So, good piece of advertising there, Ken. So basically, to start, I'm going to give you a little presentation about what the state of Delaware does in international trade and development. This is the green button, right, guys? Oh, great. Okay. We are part of the Department of State in the state of Delaware. We're not part of the Economic Development Office. We're part of the Department of State, and we do a broad range of international activities. To give you an idea, in the past few years, exports have tremendously increased by Delaware companies. Today, it's $4.9 billion. Now, there are only three of us who coordinate international trade for the state of Delaware. My colleague David Matthey, Anna White back there, where are you? Can you stand up there? So if you want to get more information directly face-to-face, those are the people who can help you. And we also have several foreign national interns. Hiro from Japan is in our office. And we work very closely with the World Trade Center and with different organizations in the state. So our exports have increased tremendously. We started in the state back when Governor Carper was around, and it was $1.8 billion. Today it's $4.9 billion. These are actual figures where Delaware companies are exporting from Delaware. Here are the exports. Mainly it's pharmaceuticals. And the top destinations. You will see that the destination China has moved up to third place. 10 years ago, it was about 12th, 13th. And it's continuing to move up. We expect that within the next 2 or 3 years, it will be number 2. Canada is still, and has been for a long time, our greatest trading partner. What do? We assist businesses to export their products by positioning them in foreign markets. We host foreign buyers, delegations. We try to increase the education of Delawareans about international and exporting. And we identify and develop relationships overseas to attract them to invest in the state of Delaware. So we deal with many small and medium-sized companies in Delaware, and we deal with many large companies overseas. We deal with them on a one-on-one basis to attract them to open their operations in Delaware. If you go to Pancata Industrial Park in Newark or the Tech Park, you will see a number of foreign companies who have established here. And we liaison with the federal agencies. What that means is we get assistance from the federal agencies overseas. What we provide is hands-on business to Delawareans. And we work, for example, very closely with the World Trade Center, who also does a lot of the similar things, but can expand more than we can in certain areas, such as partnering with companies in other states. Our services are provided to Delaware and Delaware companies. So whereas the World Trade Center can expand to Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Maryland. We help companies on market research, help identify overseas markets, figure out how to do your distributions once you have customers, understand a little bit about the trading terms, and very importantly, how to get paid and how to ship your cargo. We are not the master of all trades. We will get the facilitators to help you one-on-one and to a certain degree, we will help you one-on-one, but you as the businesses will have to negotiate your own contractual agreements with your potential buyers. Just to give you an idea, in the past year, we take delegations overseas, governor as well as other business delegations. One of the photographs there is Governor Markell meeting with Motec executives in Taiwan. Motec has its company, was brought here, assisted by Dito, to develop a solar cell business here in Delaware, and we facilitate that through our relationships in Taiwan. The lower left-hand photograph is Governor Markell speaking with the board of directors of Fraunhofer. In December of 2000, we went to Fraunhofer and convinced them to come to Delaware. Today, they have a building at the tech park, 150 people. During this discussion last year, we're trying to convince Fraunhofer to bring their offshore wind technology facilities to Delaware. They're coming to the U.S. with that institute, and we're continuing to discuss with them how to get them to come to Delaware instead of any other state. And the lower right-hand photograph is something that you can be part of. The person in the center is Julio Dupante, who owns IVF, Industrial Valve and Fittings in Newcastle. He came with us last year to one of on our trade missions to China. The people around him are his customers. He exports regularly to China, and they are his customers. So if you want to participate in an international trade mission, actually meet potential clients and buyers, that's what we do. To give you an idea, somebody mentioned this to me today, that the last time the trade mission that they knew about was our trade mission to Cuba, and that was in 2007. We took an agricultural trade mission to Cuba, and today, Purdue and Montier sell millions of dollars worth of poultry to Cuba. And one advantage of selling to Cuba, you can only sell agricultural products, but it's also great for your accounts receivable, because by federal law, you must get paid before the shipment leaves the United States, so there's no accounts receivable. You get your cash immediately. The right side, two photographs are David Matthew, for example, were exhibition in Beijing, China this April, promoting Delaware as a tourism attraction. There are millions of Chinese coming to the United States on tours. Between New York and Washington, they travel by bus. They already are stopping at our Chinese buffets, mainly off 896. And if you go around between 12 and 2 every day, you will see buses, Chinese tourists. We're now promoting, assisting them to spend some money here. Christiana Mall is very close to the I-95, so we're trying to have, step by step, have them stop. And the next step is to have them stay here overnight and have them tour and go down to the beaches. So what we do is very systematic in attracting the businesses as well as the tourists. On the left-hand side is a trade show we had in Beijing for investment, and these are companies who want to invest in the United States. We meet with them, we track them here, and we also host companies and individuals that come here. And the lower photographs are Chinese investors who have come to China, from China to Delaware to look for opportunities. Here are the countries where we have ongoing relationships. That means we know people in these countries, and we can directly communicate with them. And the three on the bottom is the countries that we are developing now. That means we are expanding resources and taking trade missions. The next one is to Brazil in September. If you're interested, Dave Matthew, contact him. He's coordinating it. And now I'd like to start the panel by asking some of the questions for our three panelists. And I think you will have the chance to ask questions afterwards. So, okay? Can I ask the first question?
Ask away.
Great. Very simple question. How important is exporting or doing business overseas for you? Chuck, you're the first closest to me.
Well, basically, we're a service company, and it's extremely important to export our equipment, and probably more importantly, to import it back into the United States. But it's a big thing. We work all over the world, and primarily we're in South America, Chile to be exact, Santiago, and that is our focus market right now, besides the U.S. I mean, we work all over the U.S. So that's the important to me.
You're next, Narash. Same question.
Well, I guess as the market is becoming global, and it cannot help but do the international business these days. We are in the environmental engineering and consulting business, and we deal with air, water, and soil. So it's very important that we go out and help the other developing countries where they need all the environmental concerns are, where they need all the help. So I think it's very important for us, for our business, to do the deal with international business.
Hi, Analtech got started in 1961, 50 years ago. In 1995, we started exporting. Thank goodness we did. In 2007, we saw a nice increase in our sales. Of course, that's when the economy started to tank out. Right now, exports covers about 40% of our business, and if it were not for exports, we'd be laying off, we'd be struggling, we'd be having a hard time. Thanks to exports, we're maintaining rather well. Thanks.
Thank you. Next question. How did you start your export of your product or services?
Very carefully. 1996, China contacted us. They had a problem at one of their army bases, and they couldn't get a piece of equipment taken apart. So they called us up, and we have patented tooling that unscrews studs, basically, is what it does. Large studs, big turbines, refineries, power plants. So we went over there like babes in the woods. We didn't know what to expect, and China was just opening up. It was right after, I believe it was Tiananmen Square happened. We went there, and we lucked out. We ran into a very good company. We did the job for them, two of us, in 3 days, when they were working on it for almost a month. So they were very pleased with us. That's how we got started in it, basically.
Thank you. Narash?
Well, we started into this business when we first met John Pastor from International Trade Group. And with John's help, we also joined the World Trade Center, which is a finance organization. And then we applied for a grant through the USAEP, and that was the first project we did in India to do the environmental study of pulp and paper mill. Since then, not looking back, we get making more contacts. John and his people, Dave and Anna, is very helpful, and so is World Trade Center. So, you know, making more contacts and going to the shows. That's what we do.
1995, our company started its first website, and that's pretty much when international business started discovering us and started requesting orders. And at first, I think we can relate to the whole babe in the woods kind of feeling, like we weren't sure exactly what we were doing, but the first few transactions went well. Now we're exporting to 40 different countries on 6 continents.
Thank you. Now, John Barone, where are you? I can't see pretty well here, but John Barone from DMAP, can you stand up? So at least, oh, here you go. The reason I'm pointing to John Barone is because John is running an Expo Tech starting in August, where he would help, different agencies and different organizations would help small, medium-sized businesses to do exports. specifically hands-on technology, how to do things, what you need to change in your manufacturing process, how to increase your manufacturing process, how to do what you now normally do in a more efficient way. So if you are interested, get involved, John Barone, Expo Tech. Next question. Where is your fastest growing export farm market?
Well, for us, South America, Chile specifically, and we are working in Argentina and in Brazil. We're trying to open a market up in Brazil. But we've been in Chile now for 2.5 years. We have a partner down there that we work with, an existing company. And right now, South America's economy, for the most part, and Chile specifically, is doing outstanding. So that is basically where we're doing most of our stuff, besides the U.S.
Arash?
That's it.
I feel for the environmental business is the mainly is the market is India, China, and Mid East. I see more growth in Mid East because there's more enforcement of the environmental laws in Mid East. But India and China obviously is coming up as for the environmental issues concerned.
We're seeing quite a bit of development in Brazil, South America, and India.
So again, I want to mention that 2 out of 3 mentioned Brazil. Brazil is one of the BRIC countries, self-sufficient in oil, continue to buy American products, and unfortunately American companies. Most of the orange juice you drink are owned by Brazilian companies. Most recently, last year, they purchased Smithfield Foods in the food industry. So Brazil is more and more interrelated with the U.S., and that's an area where we're actually moving forward on. As I mentioned, we have in September a trade mission to a trade show. If you're interested in participating, you know where to contact us. Please don't hesitate to do so. Now, next one. What methods do you use to promote your products or services overseas?
That's easy, you. No,
I can give you the connection, but you've got to make the deal.
No, we're on the internet. We have a website. Contacts, face-to-face contacts in what we do, because it's a service industry. Basically, you've got to be what I call in-your-face marketing, where you have to go talk to these people. You have to prove that you can do what you say you're going to do. If you don't, you're going to fall on your butt. So besides relying on John and his group of people, David Matthey, we take part in international trade shows with you, various ones. We've been to Taiwan, to China, which has helped tremendously. But basically, what we do for the marketing thing is, as I described, we have to be there. We have to see there. You got to form a relationship, just like in China and in Taiwan. Personal relationships are more important, basically, in our field than anything else.
Same thing. I agree with Chuck that you got to do a better job so that client remembers you and call you back. But I guess the methods pretty much we're using is like through World Trade Center or through international trade. We're going to the shows overseas, several times in Bangkok, India, China, wherever the environmental shows are, to expose ourselves more and more to these exhibitions.
Did you are you doing any business yet in Israel? You went with David earlier?
Yes, I did go to Israel with the International Trade Group. That was last year. And we developed a lot of good contacts there, a lot of environmental issues coming up. And we're working with several companies who are trying to register us with the Ministry of Environment in Israel, and hopefully we'll be doing 2 projects there.
The question was, how do we do this? How do we connect? How do we effectively market overseas?
Yeah, basically because, as you know, I mean, the people sitting here are mainly small and medium-sized businesses, and somehow they need to be motivated to make these connections and to promote the products and services.
First, I'll say that promotion is easier now than ever. We've all mentioned websites, and there's great social media tools to connect. I've connected with businesses all over the world, especially being able to use certain tools that allow me to talk to them in their time zones and their languages. It's really been incredible. But on top of that, you mentioned the face-to-face stuff and the relationship building. And I don't know, I heard something just last month that blew me away. Apparently 1% of companies export in the U.S. I mean, that's you know what, we need to show some. Will this microphone work? It's just sitting here. Can I get this to work? Hello? Anybody? Okay. And can we get the house lights up? I just want to experiment with something here just to demonstrate this for a second. Okay, yeah, house lights up just a little bit. Okay, what I want you to do is picture this room now is the world, okay? And I want each table to kind of represent a different country. So, you know, you guys will be Brazil, and you look like Germany over there. You look like South Africa. Let's see, I think I see Cuba around there somewhere. We won't talk about that much. This looks like the U.S., okay? And you look like a fine person who attends a great barber shop. And let's pretend that Jim Jones here of DMAP, who's also a great actor, is a businessman, and that he sells things. What do you have to sell there, Jim?
Oh, I have some remarkable products. Some thin layer chromatography Analtech pens. Wow. And I also have some of these nifty paper clip holders. They're fine product and in much demand.
Wow, great. And so you'd want to sell these things, okay? Who would you want to sell them to? You know, anywhere or?
Actually, I just want to sell in the United States, like 99% of everybody else in this country.
Wait a minute, you're telling me you would only sell to the people at your table? You wouldn't sell to anybody? Would anybody want a pen? Would anybody want a paperclip holder? Wait. There's people at other tables here who seem to want these things. Whitney brought a credit card. She's ready to pay. Would you sell to them?
Nope.
Wait. You're saying you represent 99% of the businesses, and you only want to sell to one table. You don't want to sell to the rest of the world.
I'm sorry. That's where I do business.
Okay. Does anybody think this is a smart move? And yet 99% of the businesses are there. Jim, feel free to pass the pens around to whomever you'd like, because you know they are great quality pens and paperclip holders. Everybody, thank Jim Jones at DMAP. All right, now this I have to say too. If you're a business that creates things, in other words, you're not a restaurant, you're not whatever. You create a product, and you are not currently exporting. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt and say that you're an intelligent person for being here to learn about this, okay? But we've heard about the resources with John and David. You've heard about the World Trade Center, Delaware. You've heard about all the other great resources out here. And believe me, John, David, they call us regularly and say, how can we help? DMAP calls us regularly, says, how can we help you? World Trade Center, Sean, calls us regularly, says, what can we do? They provide all kinds of stuff. If you come here next year and you're still not exporting and you haven't called these people, I'm going to say you're an idiot. I'm just putting that out there. So the next week, you should be calling John, you should be calling David, you should be calling Sean and saying, what can you do to help me out? And you will be blown away by what they have to offer.
So now you have just witnessed personal hands-on promotion. And I have to tell you, I really didn't know what he was going to do. Because 10:30 last night, I just came back from a trade show in China. So this morning when I came in, Ken said, I need about 5 minutes. Okay. But the bottom line from all these three participants, you have to get out of Delaware. If you want to export, you have to get off your seat. You have to be a little bit uncomfortable. But what we try to do is to help you do the business overseas, because almost all cases, we will go with you. So you're not going to be lost overseas. You will always have someone next to you, near you, that if you have a question, you have a problem. And one of the worst fears we have had for the past 15, 16 years, we've been here a long time, as I mentioned, is that people get sick. And we've had that, where we had to have medical service for somebody. It was no problem at all. It was clockwork. So it doesn't matter what problems you may get into. We even had a person losing his passport. And Mr. Matthew took him by hand and by train to get it. So we will help you do the business overseas, and we'll help you do the strategy here. So I have more questions, but what I would like to do is the next couple of minutes, ask any of you if you have any questions that you want to ask us, or ask the panel members to clarify something for you. So, can I open the questions? Anybody have any questions? Since the light is shining on me, I can't really see. So whoever has a question, stand up. Oh, there's one right there. Okay. Give a mic.
Hi, my name is Atia Goldsmith. I wanted to know if you do have the paper clips or the card holders, how do you find out what countries are interested in your product?
I could not understand you. I'm sorry.
How do you find out what country is interested in your product? If I have T-shirts, how do I know if India is interested, or Canada? How do you go about finding the country that's interested in your particular product?
So first, your question is how you find what countries are interested in your product,
Yes.
right? And then how you find the buyers.
Yes.
Am I right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. First, I would suggest you use the internet, ita.doc.gov, and go into the export folder. And it gives you a list of what products are purchased by what country from American companies. So if you find once you find the country where you see a lot of your product goes, like the statistics I showed you came from the federal website. It's all public information, no secrets. Then identify what country it is you want to go to, then come to us at the World Trade Center, and we'll walk you through the process of identifying the buyers and the distributors in that country. It's a step-by-step product. There is no magic, there is no anything. It's very systematic, and there are millions of companies that do it. So contact us if you want more hands-on assistance. Yes?
Services, thank you. I'd like to ask what services your company exports as well, okay, as far as the environment,
Got it.
okay?
What do you do, Narash?
We are an environmental engineering and consulting company, started in 1982, and also have analytical laboratories. So basically, we involve in the pollution problems of air, water, and soil. We pretty much design, investigate the problem, then design the solution, then help it remediate the problem and get a clearance, whether it's air or water or soil. That's our specialty.
Large scale or just?
Yeah, pretty much. You can say large scale means it's a brownfields development, or a building needs to tear down, may have some environmental issues in there. Yeah, I don't mean by large scale. Yeah, we do all small, medium, large scale projects.
How many staff do you have? Just give them an example. How many employees do you have?
We have about 35 people, and we're located in Newark, Delaware, and we started it, like I said, 1982.
Ken?
Analtech is the only U.S. manufacturer of thin layer chromatography plates. These are used in labs all over the world for everything from environmental testing to forensics testing. And yes, they've used our products on CSI. And the reason I felt comfortable being able to call call everybody potential idiots if you don't call these people, is because I doubt any of you actually buy these. So, what's the worst you're going to do to me? Not buy my product, whatever.
Risk, you consider risks. That's very good. So anybody else? I think maybe we have, Ken, do we have one more question? Is that possible? Or two more? Okay, go ahead, please.
Thank you. Now that we better understand at least what Analtech does, at least I understood the other two. Can we get some feel for your revenue, your annual revenue streams?
Who?
You want their annual revenue? Well, thank you for asking me. I don't know. So I have to refer you, but it's going to be up to them if they answer you. Because, as I said, we provide the service, so I can tell you and them. But just so you know, we provide the services to the companies, but when you start negotiating with prices and money, we walk away. Because we don't really, we'll give you all the information is available to any Delawarean, so we don't want to know some of these things that you, on a business-to-business basis, negotiate, and that's why we leave that up to the specific business. So, Ken? Do you want,
We do about just under $3 million in sales normally.
Rather than giving a figure, every client is different, every customer is different, so we got to work with the customer and give them the best product. And basically my strategy is give them the service what they want, when they want, and how they want. That helps us increase our revenue.
Approximately $3 million service. 80% of that in the U.S., 20% overseas.
Okay, anybody else? Ken Anderson just said, okay, you can ask another question if anybody else is interested. Okay? Great. Thank you very much for your time, and we look forward to helping you.
Thank you.